Meta just announced a 600 billion plan to invest in the US, and that's 200 billion a year. Call me crazy, but between now and 2028, which is when this deal is going to materialize, that's a 200 billion a year investment. To put that value into perspective, consider that for fiscal year 2025, the company expects 70 to 72 billion a year. That is a big improvement. It's a big increase from the current value. Now, the company is saying that they expect to create skilled trade construction jobs. It was all framed around creating employment rather than dissipating it, which is not it's not really the case, because once the data center is built, that's it. You have 30,000 people to build it and then only 5,000 people to operate it. Nothing bad with that, but I think that the second order effect that the data center is going to have in the unemployment rate overall over 10 years is going to be significantly larger than the 5,000 jobs that is going to bring. So it's a battle of narratives. Is AI good or not? Each one has its own opinion. I think AI is good, but if you have a white collar job, probably not. Anyways, moving on. 20 billion. The company says that it has invested already 20 billion, in US subcontractors across different trades, steel, pipe fitting, electrical, fiber. And in regards to energy, and this is key, the company says that they added 15 gigawatts of new power to the US grids. This is key because without power, you really don't have a lot of opportunities to grow your data center build-out plan. The two main data centers that the company has is Hyperion, that's up to 5 gigawatts in capacity, and Prometheus, which is possibly going to be live next year. And that's going to be the first data center that is going to have a capacity over 1 gigawatt. So far, Meta is going to be on track to be the first hyperscaler to have a 1 gigawatt cluster. Again, that's one cluster of 1 gigawatt, not 1 gigawatt across many clusters. So that's the nuance there. 58 million they want to give to data center community action grants to schools and nonprofits. Why? Because if you have a data center nearby, usually, not always, but usually, the utility bills go up. So, to keep them chilled, they say, okay, we have 58 million that we're going to give you. So for some time, you're not going to be in a lot of pain. What's going to happen after the 58 million, dissipates? Nobody knows. Moving on, this was apparently one of the discussions that Mark had with Trump in that awkward White House dinner back in September. And I think there were some rumors that he mentioned, at least 600 billion over the next years. So yeah, it's quite a big announcement, to be honest. And from a capex perspective, you have the figures right here: 18 billion, 18.8. Well, these are kind of like estimates. I'm not sure whether the actual values reported in the latest 10Q it's actually 18.8 billion in capex. But you can see here the increase since pretty much December 2024. And then, we have the growth in advertising. And if you were to compare the growth in advertising with the growth in CapEx, I have a chart right here, you can see the disconnection. And possibly this was one of the reasons why the market sold off. I think it was an unjustified sell-off. To be honest, I expect Meta to be back at all-time highs 6 to 12 months, maybe earlier. So this it's not making me really worried, because you can see that total revenues are growing double digits. So when this is going to go down and CapEx goes up, then I will be a bit more concerned. But if revenue is growing whilst CapEx is growing, which is what we see here, advertisement revenue up, which is 99% of the company's revenue, and CapEx growing, that's fine. And finally, you have on the bottom line, you have operating margins going down, of course, because you have more depreciation costs and you have payments to third-party providers like CoreWeave. Meta already has a deal. I think it's 14 billion with CoreWeave, huge deal, and that is going to lead to a depression in the bottom line. And of course, from an operating cash flow perspective, the trend is fine. I mean, operating cash flow is growing at 21% year over year, which is really good, but it's not growing as much as last year. Especially, you can see in December 2024, we had a 44% increase year over year, and then it went down. And December 24 was exactly when CapEx ramped up, significantly ramped up. So, am I overall worried about this? No. I really think Meta is able to, or will be able to execute on the plan. And I think they're going to monetize the build out mainly through own consumption on its ads business. That is going to include a recommendation model as well as all the different content recommendation models across the platforms, Instagram and Facebook, and of course Threads as well is going to. It has good traction. I think there were 180 million monthly active users in the last earnings. Let me just have a look. What was the value for Threads? Time spent up 10%, and daily active users surpassed 150 million. Not bad, not bad. So overall, I think the company is going to be able to consume that capacity, and hopefully, in my opinion, as soon as they start to have more than what they can consume, then they're going to sell it to the big boys in AI, namely OpenAI and Anthropic, and well, any other startups that are going to come from the AI revolution. So overall bullish, not worried about the sell-off, and I don't think it's going to last too long.